Ravens fans and Oriole fans. All right, so we have a lot to talk about today. So we're going to call this one a loaded show. We have a lot of good information out there. First of all, we want to thank you for joining us on Facebook or YouTube, however you are joining us. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing everything you can to go ahead and join us today. Welcome to our weekly mainstream here with Ravorisports, where we get content for Ravens and Oriole fans. Also, too, I want to go ahead and get the business out of the way. Definitely go ahead, like and subscribe with our stream down at the bottom, Ravorisports, excuse me, at gmail.com. Okay, so Ravorisports at gmail.com. If you're looking for any merchandise, we're opening up the merchandise store with Ravens and Orioles gear, hats, shirts, jerseys. Definitely, you can get all that other stuff. We just got some, just purchased some Ravens and Orioles t-shirts this week. So definitely got that squared away. And also my notary business, if you're interested in that as well. If you need notarized documents, Genesis Notary Services online. Definitely to our Facebook page. Definitely, you can go ahead and get that squared away. All right, so let's go ahead and get that squared away. We had a football game this week. Definitely, we had the Ravens go against the Browns. First of all, we survived the game. I think that was when I was recording the reaction. I thought that was my initial reaction is that they survived. Not the best 4 quarters of football I think they've ever had, but they won. So a win is always better than a loss, obviously. But they survived. So let's go over this. You see the final score is 23-20. That's where it is. All right. So 23-20. So we got that squared away 23-20. Ravens over the Browns in M&T Bank Stadium. Let's take a look at some of the stats for the game. Lamar, let's go ahead. Let's start with our starting quarterback. Very low passing total. Only 16 total passes. 9 for 16, 120. Always is maybe the rushing quarterback in NFL history. 10 attempts, 59 yards, over 5 yards a carry. No question. I think what always is underestimated with him is his rushing ability. Even people knowing how great he is, how productive and important that is. Everybody immediately goes to the passing because he's quarterback. That's a big number there. I thought, though, they didn't pass the ball much at all by design. They looked like they were running the ball. It looked more like the old school Greg Roman offense that a lot of people complain about. A lot more read option. I thought it was a lot more on the ground. I thought all the guys had a big day. It looked deliberate for whatever reason that they were running more. This guy was outstanding, I thought. Gus Edwards, 16 attempts, 66 yards. Lamar looked so much more comfortable with him than he did J.K. Dobbins. You call that whatever you want, but I'm talking about just it looked easier for him to play with Gus Edwards. He didn't play much, I think, in his fourth quarter. I think they had him on a bit of a pitch count. I mean, he hadn't played during the broadcast. It was like I think Harbaugh said during the press, 600 some days. That's a lot. So it's understandable that he didn't go too much in this one. Had him on a bit of a pitch count. Totally understanding that he had bit of a pitch count in this one. I thought he ran the ball well. I thought Kenyon Drake got a few carries. Justice Hill got a few carries. Justice Hill, terrible fumble, though, at the end. But they ran the ball a lot, which is good. I think it's a quandary. Everybody wants you to throw the ball. I think they're more effective at times when they don't. I think their offense is kind of built more for running at times. So Mark Andrews didn't have a catch. Bateman 4 for 42. Four receptions, 42 yards. He was the most active of the receivers. He is easily their best wide receiver. I mean, not even close. We'll see when Deshaun Jackson actually gets on the roster active. I'm not sure. He will be. But it was a clear effort that they were not going to throw the ball much in this one. They definitely ran the ball. They kind of held the lead. They tried to hold the lead. Got to close out the games on the offense. That fumble by Justice Hill was just terrible. It seems like bad things happening late in the game. But they were able to go ahead, hold on to the win. Justin Houston, I think, definitely made a huge impact. 2 sacks. They were harassing Jacoby Brissett a lot in this one. That's what pass rush is supposed to look like, I was thinking, in this game. Him and JPP, Justin Pierre-Paul, they had pressure the whole game. That's what it's supposed to look like. For me, I'm benching Adafi Owe, and these 2 guys are my starters. They definitely, Owe, I think, it's just not coming around. I think he's somewhat better from the beginning of the season, but he's definitely not, to me, as good as Pierre-Paul. And we'll definitely see it when David Ajabo gets active in a few more games here and ties Bowser. So we'll see how much he plays at that time when they actually get the cavalry in. But the pass rush looks a lot better, especially with Justin Houston in there. Looked very, very good. Another one worth mentioning as well on defense, and I don't have the graphic up for it, but Patrick Queen, 3 straight games, phenomenal. Finally, it looks like we're getting the Patrick Queen that we were all hoping for when he drafted. Looks aggressive, was all over the field, not just a run, pass. He plays well with instinct. That's what I like about him. The athletic ability has always been there. Always. This guy is phenomenally fast, but he's got to make. It seems like at times he's undisciplined before, or lack discipline. Now he's just playing with pure instinct, like the way Patrick Queen's doing late. Outstanding. The Browns. So Jacoby Brissett, perfectly serviceable backup quarterback. Decent starter, had a decent enough day. 22 for 27, 258. That number is a little deceptive because a lot of it, when they were trying to catch up, they were throwing the ball a lot. When they were behind, Ravens were ahead most of this game. But a decent day. I mean, I can't really, can't really. It wasn't great or bad. That's probably the best way to put it. Wasn't a great day or a bad day for Jacoby Brissett. Running a lot, considering too. I mean, again, Ravens had good pass rush in this one. He didn't get much of a chance to do anything. They did a job, I thought, a decent enough job containing this guy, Nick Chubb. Now you look at the date, 16 attempts, 91 yards. He had the 1 TD. I think that's about as good a job as you could do on this guy. The Ravens rush game, again, defense is improving, right? 32nd a few weeks ago. They're now not good, 22nd, but that's a big improvement, up 10 spots. Hey, look, last 3 weeks, you played Joe Mixon, you played Nick Chubb, you played Saquon Barkley, all held under 100 yards. Definitely on teams that definitely want to run the football. That's not bad. That's an improvement. That goes also to Queen's improvement, etc., and the good play from the interior guys. So especially, I would say held in check. That's a bit much, but held down a little bit. You know, he didn't go. He certainly didn't go crazy on him like we've seen him doing. His capable of doing. Also, I've noticed too with them, with the Cleveland Brown, I didn't see a lot of Kareem Hunt in this one. I think that's why he's been in trade rumors, because Chubb is really basically used to be a bit more of a platoon. It was really mostly Kareem Hunt, mostly rather Nick Chubb. Typical Amari Cooper day, 3 catches, 74 yards. Solid production, and he kind of disappeared at times as well. He has these big catches, and then he has a huge one. That's kind of a typical Amari Cooper type production. David Ajabo, I thought, also played. I think he got injured. Those are the two guys that you really worry about. I didn't think they had a particularly good passing day. Like I said, about average. Uh, I thought the Ravens defense mostly did a good job. Mostly did a good job. I thought the Browns, um, they didn't. They really. I think they had some big plays, but they really never got in a great flow. Like they really didn't get shredded or anything. Not at all. Like that. Jeremiah Owasu Kormoa. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. He had 7 tackles. Browns defensively. Yeah, I thought the Ravens pushed him around pretty good. I thought this guy had a great day tackling because they had to do a lot of tackles because the Ravens ran the ball a lot. I thought the offensive line, in particular of ours, shout them all out. Ronnie Stanley, Ben Powers, Tyler Linderbaum, Morgan Moses, I think, was hurt for a little while. I think he didn't play as much. So Patrick McCarry and Kevin Zeitler, good day for them. But they got a lot of tackles in this one. And this guy, he had a lot of tackles. Ravens got to close games. You got to close games. They're leading in most of these games. So that tells you something. I mean, you got to finish it out. You got to go ahead and close it out. And they survived. And I think they got lucky. Well, if you don't believe in lucky, you use the word fortunate. In this one, they had the 2 calls pivotal at the end. I thought the pass interference that was called on the offensive pass interference that was called on Marcus Peters. I thought they were fortunate to get because you rarely get offensive pass interference in that situation. Rarely do you get in late in the game like that. Rarely do you get. So they got it. And also, too, on the final kick there, where Cade York was lining up for the field goal, it's like it was offsides on the offense. I totally did not understand the explanation that Gene Steratore said. I looked at it. Apparently, somebody moved on the Brown side, or the appearance of they thought somebody moved on the Brown side. And so they went ahead and kicked the field goal. It was a longer field goal. I think it was 61 yards, and they were able to get their hands up and get it. So, good win for the Ravens. Any win is a good win. So now they go to 4-3. And they are going to go ahead and play quick turnaround. So you don't have to wait long for their next game. There's one on Thursday night. Amazon Prime game. So we're going to have the Ravens go against the Bucs. That Bucs record is right, 3-4. Ravens 4-3. Going into Raymond James Stadium. Kickoff is at about 8:20. So we're going to go ahead and preview that game as well. Their quarterback needs no introduction. The greatest of all time, Tom Brady. That's what he's done this season. 1942 passing, 8 TDs, and 1 interception. Brady's had issues this year. The stat line doesn't look horrible. Not as good as he usually does. They're not putting the ball in the end zone. They're not scoring. They scored 3 points against Carolina, who's clearly Carolina's clearly they're just rebuilding. They have no coach. They have an interim coach. They got rid of their superstar McCaffrey this week. They possibly are trading DJ Moore and some other players for draft capital because they want to start over because it clearly didn't work with Matt Rule. So the Bucs, I'm 3-4. Brady hasn't been Brady-like. I'm not gonna go there as far as his marriage and all. I actually don't care. I don't think any of y'all. I mean, a lot of y'all don't care about the marriage if they stay. But I will say it's relevant to the fact that the routine is off, and that's important. The one thing I'm certainly no Tom Brady, but we're about the same age, and I can tell you when you do things differently, when your routine is off, when your life is going, it's harder to get stuff done, and that's what it looks like. You know, he's taking time off during the week, taking a rest day, missed 10 days of camp, stuff like that, and timing looks off with the receivers, blah blah blah. That matters. So I think that's what's going on, and they're not putting it in the end zone. Not having Gronkowski matters too. That's a deal. Not getting the ball because in the red zone they're really struggling. So that's a thing that the Ravens should be able to take advantage of in this one. A lot of the names we know. I mean, Leonard Fournette. Here's a guy, great first game and really struggled since 95 attempts, 343 on the ground, 3 TDs. They haven't been able to establish him at all in the last couple games. Another problem they have, they can't really run the ball effectively. So he's got a lot of talent, though. He's a big guy, big load, kind of like trying to tackle a Derrick Henry. That's what you got here. They haven't been able to get the push up front, but this guy has a lot of talent, Leonard Fournette. Big guy, very lots of speed. Not just one of these big plotting guys, big hard guy, kind of like Derrick Henry's a guy. Jamal Lewis is kind of who we like when we had Jamal Lewis, big guy but fast. Herschel Walker type. Big guy but not just the best run you over type. He's got some quick stuff, but he has not been able to get going this year. Good receiving core on paper. Mike Evans, I think for years, I said it for many years, this is the best receiver nobody talks about. 33 receptions, 354, 3 TDs. Stat line is decent for him. All week, we watched him showing that where he dropped the touchdown pass, the touchdown pass, and on his arms from Brady. And they just haven't been able to get in the end zone. I don't think this has been on Mike Evans. I think Godwin's missed some games. I think the receiving core has been very pedestrian outside of their top 2 guys. This is the guy you need to work on, Mike Evans. I think he's outstanding all the way around. If they are able to turn around with all the talent they have, this is the guy. Definitely, I would definitely treat him like Jamar Chase or Devontae Adams, where I'd have Humphreys and Peters watching him the whole game. Definitely clearly, I think he's their best receiver. Their linebacking core. Now the defense has been good. They haven't given up many points. These 2 guys are outstanding, I think. Levante David and Devin White. I absolutely love their linebacking core in Tampa. They are very solid. These guys are enormously quick. They run sideline to sideline. Levante David, more of a veteran. Devin White, younger. Very good group of linebackers here. Both of them have 53 tackles. That's incredible in the first couple games. So they are very solid. Both of them are on pace for 100 tackles. Also, too, Shaq Barrett, off to a bit of a slow start for his standards, is there as well. Also, too, a good defensive backfield, I think, for Tampa as well. Mike Edwards, I think, is the only one that's been struggling for them, but they really have a very good defense in Tampa. So I think that's the reason even why the record is 3-4, not worse than what it is. Very good team, Tampa, despite their record. Obviously, you don't play a Tom Brady, and I'm looking at all these names. It's hard for me to think, man, this is a lousy team despite their record. But their offense has been flat out anemic. No other way to slice it. Along with the Rams, most disappointing offense in the league, not scoring. So the Ravens have a good opportunity here to go ahead and keep it that way and get anemic, keep their offense anemic, and not scoring points and not getting in the end zone. Will we see Deshaun Jackson? I was almost joking last week. Harbaugh was non-committal when I saw him on Deshaun Jackson playing rather. I don't know if he does this week. We hope so. They definitely need his speed in there. This is a guy who's accomplished way more, even in his advanced age, a lot more rather, than anybody in your receiving core. So definitely he would be helpful in this one because you're going to need points if you're going against Brady. I'm sure Harbaugh isn't thinking about this team. John Harbaugh isn't thinking about this team. Well, this team can't score. They got Brady and all these guys. He's looking on talent saying, hey, we're going to need to score some points. Patrick Queen, we mentioned, phenomenal in the last few weeks. No other way to say it. Finally, we're looking like he can get an extension. Finally, we're looking like a guy, okay, you don't have to go back in the draft. They're getting what they're. I mean, he's definitely been great. If he could keep this up the rest of the year, it'll be a huge boost for the defense. So I think Ravens win this game 21-10. I think they stay anemic in this one. I think the Ravens defense has been playing much better the few weeks. Something's off in Tampa. Now, I think going forward, I think they still probably win the division because I think the division isn't any good. I think they eventually get healthy. But the Ravens have a good opportunity here, considering their schedule the rest of the way, to really go ahead and do some damage here in the next few weeks and go on a good winning streak. So there you go. There is our review of the Browns and preview of the game coming up this week. So definitely check it out. The Ravens and the Bucs. Well, a lot of us will be watching, I'm sure, Thursday on Amazon Prime. Weird to say that there's games on Amazon Prime, but broadcast isn't bad. Watching the game. So let's go to our larger, easy for me to say, NFL content Big Five. So we're gonna go Big Five. Five biggest games on the schedule this week that are not the Baltimore Raven games. So we're definitely gonna go ahead and do that. Big Five. So 3-2 last week, 18-17 over the year. Chefs were victorious. The Chiefs over the 49ers. I thought the Sunday night game was lousy, and it was wrong. I got it wrong. I think Miami was successful over the Squealers. So Pittsburgh has some real problems. Their quarterback play just can't keep up. That's what's wrong with them. I mean, I think their offensive line isn't good either, but that's the biggest hang-up right now. So let's go. Patriots and the Jets in this one. So two teams that are going on opposite paths, it looks like. Patriots didn't do well at all on Monday night. I mean, they got really beat up by the Bears on Monday night. We do not know who the starting quarterback is. So we got Mac Jones, who started the game and was taken out for Bailey Zappi. I think it's going to be Bailey Zappi going forward for them. I think it's going to be Bailey Zappi. Mac Jones has not played well at all this year. For whatever reason, I think it's kind of strange because he was decent enough for him last year. I mean, he beat out Cam Newton. They weren't even going to play him. And this year it just hasn't happened. And Belichick, he's got the wrong coach. This guy's not patient at all. It's kind of weird to say because he had Brady for so many years. I mean, Brady was the greatest player ever played. So most of the time, this guy doesn't waste time benching players or whatever. This guy, not the right guy to have patience there. The Jets have been really good. I've heard a lot of negative with the Jets, even despite their record. I'm more than the Giants. I'm convinced they've had a solid run game. They have a solid strategy. I like it. I thought defensively too, Robert Saleh has gotten C.J. Mosley and those guys to play well. I like the Jets in this game. Despite Bryce Hall, they brought in James Robinson from the Jags, and Michael Carter's been good for him as well. So even though they lost him, I think they go ahead and they win this game. New England, I don't know what's going on. I can't really feel confident in them right now. I mean, they really. I mean, you don't always put too much stock on it, but they really look bad against not good Bears team on Monday night. So, and they're up and down. They're like the defense looks good one week, it looks bad, and it looks good. Inconsistent. Here's a team I think that's going to do better going forward. I think the Cardinals going against the Vikings. I'm going to surprise you and go with the Cardinals in this one. Their offense, when they have DeAndre Hopkins, who just came back from suspension, looked enormously better. They really are have a lot more productivity in there with him. It just looked different. It looked different. The Vikings, I think, are what they are. They kind of struggle in these type of games when pushed, though. They got a good record off of some bad teams, but they've been winning. But I like the Cardinals in this one. I think the Cardinals with DeAndre Hopkins in there, now they don't have Marquise Brown. They got Robbie Anderson. I think they're going to turn the corner, and I like them over the Vikings. Vikings, though, I would say have a good opportunity the way Green Bay's looked the last few weeks. I don't think there's anybody else in that division that they need to be concerned about. All right, so here come two of the surprising teams in the NFL. The Giants, New York Giants, victorious again last week, and Seattle Seahawks. Giants, I just still can't buy it. I mean, they were losing again last week, most of the game, came in at the end. I don't see it. I don't see how you keep it. I mean, I went against them and they won and they keep winning. But again, they don't. I just don't see it with them. But their record is what it is. I don't want to be too disrespectful because I'm very respectful of wins and losses. I just don't see it. Seahawks, I think, are inexplicable as well. Here's a team where I thought maybe they're the 32 or 32 teams. And I could tell Pete Carroll's coaching this team. But one thing I know he has is now that Russell's gone, he can coach it exactly the way he wants. He can run the ball. They've been running the ball. Kenneth Walker, their rookie, has been fantastic. They throw to their tight ends a lot. They have Will Dissly there, Noah Fant there. He can coach it the way he wants. If I had never seen the jerseys, it's like, man, that's a Pete Carroll coach team. And I like them in this game. I would think they have a good everybody's kind of dismissing them. I think they have a good opportunity here to go ahead and the Giants are not going to keep the Giants. They're not going to keep them. They may get in the playoffs, considering the state of the NFC, but they're not going to keep beating these good teams. I can't see it. All right, so quote Axel Foley, I'm not going to go for the banana in the tailpipe. So what does that mean? So a lot of times I pick the Rams and like the Rams and respect for McVay's organization, and they always get beat up by the Niners. So I'm picking the Niners. The Niners have beat them, I think, 8 or 9 straight times or something like that. So they lost 2 weeks in a row, 49ers, and they're going to beat the Rams. I saw when I watched the Rams against Dallas a few weeks ago why the Niners keep beating. They're getting pushed around the front. Note boom, the left tackle is out. I think they're on their third center. The Rams, I like the Niners. I'm gonna go with the Niners. The Niners push them around. The Niners are very physical. They're good at the point of attack. Nick Bosa's back in there. They push the Rams around. I think that's the Rams' problem has been the season. So I'm taking the Niners. I'm not gonna not take it. Even though the Niners, I think, inconsistent at quarterback. But Jimmy Garoppolo seems to do well every time he plays the Rams. So keep that in mind. And here's the Packers and the Bills. Packers 3-4. A little bit of a struggle for the Packers lately. And against Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen and the Bills. Aaron Rodgers questioning whether he wants to be there at times. I don't know if it's fire, disappointment, or disinterest. It's hard to get a read with Aaron. The problem is he clearly doesn't have receivers. That's a fact. And they're not so good on the ground where they're not, I would say, the Ravens or the Seahawks or anything, where they're going to be so committed to the ground, or it's not going to do that. And they don't. Alan Lazard seems to be the only guy he has confidence in. And for whatever reason, their defense isn't quite as strong. I don't see how you keep up unless the Bills really fall asleep in this one. The Bills, I think, are the best team in the NFL so far, along with Philadelphia. They've Josh Allen has been fantastic. I think the two receivers are outstanding. I think Devin Singletary is very underrated. Their defense is outstanding, even with the injuries. Jordan Poyer is being incredible all season, even without his tag team partner Micah Hyde out there. Uh, even their young corner, even their corners, they've had injuries. They've had two young guys they've been playing. They've been great as well. So they've been really good. I definitely, it's hard to go against the Bills in Orchard Park in this one. There you go, Big Five. So definitely we want to go ahead and let you know all the games that are going on. So definitely check them out over the weekend. Okay, near and dear to my heart. Let's talk about this one. Yes. Now I think I got it wrong. I did look it up and so I did jump. It's the 134 meeting of the Baltimore City College Knights against the Polytechnic Engineers. This game is on the 22nd, 7 o'clock, Homewood Field on Rise, which is the Ravens' social media network. So the Knights are 5-3, 7-1. I think Poly is ranked. I think I got this right. I think they're ranked like 12th in the Baltimore Sun poll. So they're very good this year. Knights not quite as good, 5-3 record, still in playoff position. Go ahead and get it. A couple things I want to go over with this one. One, love the game location. Homewood Field is fantastic. Great location. Nice part of Baltimore to go to. I used to live on University Parkway near the campus many years ago. Nice part of town. So if you are taking your family somewhere, a lot of people worry about going downtown or going to. It's nice around it. Very nice area to actually go ahead, go to the game. Very comfortable. To go there if you want to take your kids or if you're a young person, you want to go there, hang out there before the game. Right? Very, very nice part of town. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be able to commit to that every year, Johns Hopkins, but very nice be able to go on Homewood Field. Secondly, I'll be taking the games on Rise Ravens. Social media network is going to be broadcasting the game. They have been doing high school games all season long. I actually did watch a little bit of Dundalk and Franklin a few weeks ago. Franklin is another part of town where I used to live, in Reisterstown. So I'll say this as well. Obviously, don't get it twisted. I was a Black Knight, a graduate of Baltimore City College. So I'm definitely not rooting for you watching out there that went to Poly or associated with Poly. I'm definitely not rooting for you in this one. Absolutely. High school sports for young men is very important. In my life, I graduated a long, long time ago when I was in high school. The team was very good, by the way, when I was there. I think we only lost one game until my senior. I think they won 30 something in a row or something. I think it was my junior. I think it was my junior year. I think it was my junior year where they finally lost a game. I think they won like 29 straight until we actually did lose the City Poly game. I think it was my junior year where we lost one game. And for me, definitely being going to City College, being a non-athlete, definitely my early days as far as being in sports media was at the Collegiate at Baltimore City College. I was a sports writer a million years ago, assistant sports editor, whatever the titles were back then. But I was really got my fested my passion for the sports there. I think high school sports is very good for young men as well. I can't speak to women because I'm not one, obviously, but it's a very good thing for young men, a group of young men to be out there with each other, supporting each other. You get a lot of life lessons in sports for these young men. I think that's important regardless of what the score is. So I think supporting this effort and supporting the effort of these young men at both schools, I think is important. It's outstanding that also too the game is in a good location and the game is actually being broadcast. I think um, I'm gonna go rant on Masson, the lousy job that they're doing on these games. I mean, I think they're a complete disgrace in a lot of ways. Uh, I'm glad this game is being televised and people and fans and people have a chance to watch it. These two large alumni for these schools, so definitely support the efforts of young men here, and hopefully we have a good event. I can tell you this. Um, Frankly, the people my age watching this, the former graduates especially, that the tailgating is going on already. It's going to continue all weekend. There's a lot of parties and a lot of meeting that's going on. So definitely support there. And you don't have to be a student. Maybe maybe if you're not like a city grad like me, or you went to poly, and a lot of people have kids, poly, whatever. Or it's just, I think too, it's a good thing to do in the area. So if you are a fan of sports in general, definitely, I would tell anybody to take in the city poly game. We don't have to pay MLB prices, NFL prices. Outstanding. All right. So long history with the Black Knights and the Engineers. Let's go to baseball. So we got some big games going on. So we got the MLB Championship Series and the World Series that's going to start this week, because we know who's going to be in it. Let's talk about the NL first. Very entertaining NL Championship Series, NLCS. The Padres and the Phillies. Thought was a very, very entertaining series. Two teams that are really have a lot of talent, really hit the ball well. I thought the Phillies did a good job hitting the ball. I thought they were the best offensive team out of all four teams in both championship series. The Padres, I thought, fell a little short. Well, they definitely did fall short. They didn't win. Their pitching just wasn't strong enough for the Phillies inning. I mean, they had several good hitters in that. Russ Hopkins, let me just go ahead and put him on the screen graphic. He was fantastic. Average wasn't high, but look at the production. 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. This guy, this is why sabermetric guys probably don't like him, because that's kind of what he is. Productive guy without a great average. I thought their whole offensive team was really good. Schwarber, couple home runs. JT Rama, I think, might be the best catcher in all the MLB. It was great. It's a pleasure watching Juan Segura. Go ahead, hit. And the starters were good enough. Zach Wheeler, I think, is the top 10 pitcher in all of baseball. So they were very good in this series. That was your NLCS MVP, Bryce Harper, finally getting in. Bryce Harper, it's so much fun to watch him. It's I'm trying to use the name. I think Bill Ripken on steroids. Bill Ripken, if he was an all-star. Watch him run through a wall. That's what it's all about. Having a guy like Bryce Harper on your team. So I think it's good for him in baseball to have the whole world get to know Bryce Harper and see him on the largest stage in the World Series. This one was way more decisive. I thought the Astros would win, but it wasn't much of a fight at all. And this one, games were somewhat close, overmatched. Yankees, I thought, would not win the series. These guys on the Astros, want to go ahead and just shout them out. Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez. These are the biggest hitters in the offense. Also, we have our guy, Trey Mancini, there as well. So we want to shout out those guys. Too much thunder in their offense. The Yankees really got exposed. I've been saying it all throughout the playoffs. Judge is their only guy that's really been consistent. They get it from other places at times, but Stanton, Josh Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu, not solid enough. They basically judge by themselves. I mean, during the regular season, they got it enough of them nights. I mean, that's a good call, to get it when you need it. But when you're going against this type of thunder, these type of guys, 3 guys that hit over 20 home runs, you're going to have to be better than that. Also, too, you got the 2 great starters that they have, Framber Valdez, Justin Verlander as well. Both of these guys are top 3 Cy Young candidates. Verlander, I think, probably the favorite for the Cy Young. And this guy wound up getting the ALS MVP. I keep forgetting he's a rookie, Jeremy Payne. So Adley Rutschman might not win it, but Jeremy Payne might win it. Phenomenal. He's an incredible young player that they have on a team full of great players. So definitely they're going to go ahead and move forward into the World Series. The Astros going against the Phillies in this one. I've been not getting a lot of these right. Phillies look like a team of destiny to me. They look. It's hard for me to go against the Phillies going against what I've seen. Good Cardinals pitching, they beat it up. Good Padres pitching, they beat it up. So here we are all the way at the end. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Phillies over the Astros, who are a really good team. Really, really good team. But these 2 teams match up offensively. Very, unlike the Yankees I think these teams are very comparable. And I think they're definitely a team of destiny. So we're going to go ahead and take the Phillies in the World Series. Looks like that's going to start on Friday of this week. There you go. So we're going to preview the MLB. So definitely go ahead and check that out and check out the World Series and the rest of the playoffs. So definitely check us out on that. Check it out. I think it's Fox, the game's on. So definitely check that out. For those of you, if you want to spend a lot of money, I mean, for tickets, if you can get tickets to Philly, not that far away. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that squared away. Let's do, as promised, pitching recap. So we're going to go ahead and review the Orioles pitching in 2022 into more now Orioles off-season content. So we're going to go ahead and go over starters and relievers. Okay, starters I have in one bucket based on the first screen, performance, and also number of starts. So the 5 guys had the most starts, and then who did the best in those 5 starts. Relievers kind of the same way. Is that, and we'll also have another bucket of guys that didn't make the list that are starters and relievers. So at first I had Dean Kramer, and these guys, just to be clear, these guys made the top 5 starts. So these guys had more starts than anybody else. That's why they're listening to starting pitching. Dean Kramer, he's the only one I think guaranteed a spot last year. Dean Kramer and Keegan Aiken made incredible improvement this year. He was your number 1 starter. I think he was the most consistent when he was pitching. Tremendous improvement for Dean Kramer. Here's a guy who basically almost forgot about last year. He wasn't so good, but I definitely think he's the one for sure. I think that cemented his spot in the rotation next year. There is a spot for Dean Kramer. No question about it. I've heard this guy called the ace many times. For sure, he was your workhorse. For sure, he gave you the most starts and won the most games. Jordan Lyles, 12-11, 4.42 ERA. I thought Lyles was better than expected. For $7 million, not bad at all. He went ahead and pitched. I don't call him an ace. A little bit too inconsistent for me. And also, too, he's not like he's been an ace for years and years. Very, very interesting to see what his Oriole future is. I think it's $11 million. And I believe they have to decide right after the World Series. So it's not like you can wait in the free agency or anything like that. Here's what I know for sure. He's going to get that somewhere else after the year. There's no question about it. He's gonna get $7, $8, $10 million. So how much more does he want? Does he want to Do they want to go ahead and spend that type of money? I think it'll be a big tell to see what they do and what they spend here on Jordan Lyles. Tyler Wells, I thought was solid as well, 7-7, 4.2 E5 ERA. They're high on him. They're high on Tyler Wells. I think they have a good. I think he's a better reliever than starter, honestly. But I think he might work as a starter. I've got no big problem with it either way. Interesting to see how it works for him in the offseason because there's a lot of pitching here that may not be here next year. But I think Wells, I thought, was a decent enough starter. I think he could be fighting for a rotation spot. Here's a guy that other people seem to be high on than me, Kyle Bradish. I thought Bradish was very inconsistent. He looks so good at times. I thought that it's weird. Like the ceiling for him at times is so high, really good, and then at other times he just was lousy. I mean, he would get rocks. He didn't pitch well. He gives up a lot of runs. He'd have one good start, and then you have one where he can't get out of. That's not very inconsistent, Bradish. So other people seem to be higher on him. I see him in different spaces talking about Bradish. They seem to be higher on him than I seem to be. Good prospect though. So still young. Might get better. Spencer Watkins, I think he kind of is what he is. Watkins, I think, is a that's kind of where he lives. 5-6, 4.7 ERA. That's if you want him around, that's what you're going to get. Like he's a fifth starter, spot starter. If you need a guy like that, that's kind of good. You know, I think probably with him, he's best served as a long reliever that you start occasionally. You know, or start if you need, start a doubleheader, have injuries, or stick them in the rotation for a few. That's kind of like the best use of a guy like that. Other names, Austin Voth, 30-year-old Austin Voth, 5.434 ERA, good ERA, good solid pitching down the stretch. I thought very competitive to see how he does go forward, but definitely worth a look, earned at least that much. Two other names, Bruce Zimmerman. Some people consider him their best starter during the year, going into the season, rather. And I don't think he was very good at all. I mean, you look at the 5.99 ERA, was injured. So interesting to see what happens with him. I don't think he's a major league starter. He's definitely a bullpen guy. I think like you're gonna think even last year I thought people were higher on him than I was. I don't want to be too disrespectful, but I don't think not as stout. I think some guys just aren't high level starters. I mean, it's very few high level starters. Very few. John Means, I think he's definitely your best starter. We have no idea when he's going to be on the field. I'm hearing that he probably won't be back until July. So for sure, he's in the rotation. For sure, he's in the rotation. How is he going to look after all this surgery? I mean, he's had a lot of health issues staying healthy. Definitely, clearly, though, he's been your best starter. And when you keep him healthy, but he's definitely struggled. But I don't think they're going to have Means at all to start. So very interesting to see what happens here. Overall, my take is you need more starting pitching. Dean Kramer, I think, definitely is your guy. He's in your rotation spot. I think, like, to win as many games as you did, you have this pitching rotation kind of look like it did. You were fortunate. So you kind of have a bunch of guys that perform decent, but you have to have a guy that's an ace. So remiss not to mention Grayson Rodriguez. We're going to talk more about that in the offseason and things like that. Definitely, he's the number one prospect in all baseball. For sure, there's a rotation spot for him. So we'll see how this plays out. Relief pitching, I think, is going to be a lot more steady here, especially your top three guys. Felix Bautista, I think, is going to be your guy going forward, your closer for the next several years. If you want extension candidate, I think this is it. I thought he was fantastic. I think even the ERA 2.19 there was deceptive. He had a bad start at the end. And even that, well, not a bad start, but a bad outing where I think he gave up a couple runs and it elevated it to that. Most of the year, under 2, fantastic, throws ridiculously hard, 100 plus, big, intimidating closer. He's going to be your guy going forward. The only question I have with him, is can you keep him? can you keep a guy like this? I think the first 3 bullpens tend to go up and down. I don't think you're going to have this question with these 3 guys here. Kaleno Perez, I thought you could argue he was the best pitcher. I thought when I did the pitching, who is your best? I thought these guys were 1 and 2 easy. He was fantastic. This guy's not going to go down either. He's going to be solid for a number of years. Go ahead and keep him 7-1, 40 ERA. Throws the ball very hard as well. Better mix of pitches, I think, than Bautista as well. So definitely not going to worry about it here. I think Dylan Tate is almost as solid. I mean, before Bautista emerged, I definitely had money on him being closer, and I think he can be a closer for a lot of teams. These 3 are going to be the foundation of your bullpen, I think. Dylan Tate, I think, is fantastic. I think even that, again, ERA 3.05 is a little high. He is a solid late game reliever. Like it. Dylan Tate. Now we go to Brian Barker. I thought he was solid. I think he's right where he should be. I thought he's more of a middle guy, high leverage situations, performed decent in high leverage situations, bit more crafty, has some zip on it. He's not a complete, a jump ball or anything like that. Has some zip on it, but I think he's about right where he should be. Along with Joey Crabble, I thought not quite as good, but solid enough. I mean, I thought most on 3.90 ERA, 5 wins. I thought the bullpen was tremendous this year. I thought this was the strength of your team. A lot of the guys they put in, despite the starts even in some games, I thought were really good. You have a beat Girth here. Here's a guy didn't pitch in as many games, and I'm marking 45 games. Keegan Aiken, huge improvement from the year before. 3.2 ERA. Oh boy, it's going to be tough to find a spot for him. As good as he was. So we'll see how that goes going forward. Nick Vespi, great-looking prospect, 5.0, 4.1 ERA in 21 and 25 games. Logan Gillespie, one win, 3.12 ERA in 17 games. I thought all 3 of those guys were good. The sad part is it's going to be tough to find spots for all of them. Here's a guy for sure with a spot. Despite I think he was the worst of everybody, I thought DL Hall. DL Hall, 1-1, 5.93 ERA. One of the top prospects, one of them in all of baseball for a long time, right along with Grayson. Fascinating. How would they treat DL Hall going into next season? Mike Elias says he's got a little ways to go. I think he'd have been in the rotation already, but he started to struggle in AAA. He started to struggle when he got to the majors. So how do they view him? How much better does he get? I think his talent is incredible. I am not as high as a lot of his delivery, that little funky delivery and mechanics, and I don't love it. But we'll see. Very interesting to see what happens with DL. Tremendous prospect. Throws the ball at like 100 every time. Right around there. So definitely got talent. And I'd be remiss to mention now Jorge Lopez. He was your starter. He was your closer in the first half. Really rejuvenated. 4-6, 1.68 ERA, 19 saves. Great first half for him, a contributor, even though he's no longer with the Orioles. There we go. So thank you for watching all the action there with us this week. So definitely we wanted to go ahead and go over everything with you. And next week we're gonna go ahead and review the Bucs and the Ravens. We're gonna review the Thursday night game. Might do a little react here. I will not be able to do immediate react for this game on Thursday night, so I'll definitely be doing it on Friday. So definitely, and also too, we're gonna go ahead and preview the game. So we got a Thursday game and then we got a Monday game. So we're gonna preview the Ravens and the Saints. Definitely going down into the Superdome and doing that as well. So definitely too, we're gonna go ahead and continue on with our coverage MLB of the Championship Series, World Series. So we're going to go ahead and cover that one as well. And also, too, Orioles offseason content. Now we're going to talk about free agency for the Orioles. Who's going to be a free agent on our team? Who's going to be guys they're going to be looking at going forward? So definitely we're going to go ahead and check that out as well. All right, so thank you very much for hanging in with us here on our stream, on our main stream. So thank you for checking in with us this week at Ravorisports. Enjoy all the games. Go City. Have a great day.